Stepping Razor 2 weeks now. The first one we play was about where poor people do, where rich people don't do, and the next one we play was who own the world. Well, we get some, I text them, call them now, WhatsApp. What are they? We get some message that say, we play back the who own the world on the cutting edge. Yes, them so must play it back on the cutting edge, and if we can play it back again on the Stepping Razor, what do you want now? We're not going to play it back on the Stepping Razor, you know, because we have more for play in that slot that we designate for that, call it. So, here we're going to do. We're going to play back the who own the world one for those of you who never, well, the person who asked me must hear it, that's why they have to play it back. I guess they want to call somebody to listen to it. And then we play something else tomorrow. You understand? And we have a thing about Africa for play. Serious documentary about Africa. So we're there with you. What do you mean? This is the cutting edge. You don't have to call 911. In our case, a 119.
With Mutabaruka, we are listening to our meds. You know here, continent, the edge, the edge.
Education. Call us now, 467-5123.
The Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Commission will host a series of town hall meetings across Jamaica for all gaming stakeholders, gaming machine operators, gaming machine manufacturers, patrons of gaming establishments, and any other interested stakeholders. Come join us as we discuss new developments and other important matters related to Jamaica's gaming industry on Thursday, March 15 in Kingston at the Terra Nova Hotel beginning at 5 p.m. Gaming industry stakeholders should not miss the BGLC's 2018 Town Hall meetings. For more information, please contact the BGLC at 630-1353. Gaming is for adults 18 and over. Game responsibly.
Calling all tourism workers in Montego Bay. The Ministry of Tourism invites you to our awareness and...
Yes, this is the Cutting Edge. We have on the line Joy. Joy, how you doing?
Not too bad, thank you.
All right. So we was talking in the day, I don't know if it's yesterday or today. It's yesterday, you know. It's yesterday, right?
Yes.
About your, what you call it, a symposium on the music, or you call it symposium, what you call it?
I call it a workshop.
Workshop. Or not
yes,
okay.
Entertainment Administration Workshop.
So you are the person who's going to give the talks at the workshop, or you have different speakers at the workshop?
Myself, yes, and E. Francis from Chalice Reggae Band and representatives from the CMOs, Jam Copy, Jacob Jams.
All right.
There presenting.
I could tell the people them what we're talking about here. You can, all right, don't tell the people them what we're talking about, because we start off and don't actually tell what is it all about here.
Yes, the Entertainment Administration for Jamaica's families and businesses to develop earnings. That's what the workshop that I'll be doing on Saturday coming is all about. It focuses on explaining to everyone about the added value for products, services, and talents being used within the entertainment industry, and how we work on developing those products, services, and talents into what we call tangible income. Because, you know, sometimes we have the things physically, but music itself is an intangible asset.
Yeah.
So it's how to translate all of that into actual earnings that you see in your pocket.
All right. Is there a reason why you live in Chapelton, or there's a reason why you carried to Chapelton?
I carried it there because I had, in working through my company, Joy Music Limited, and the Java office, the Vintage Artists Association, as an administrator, I encountered a lot of people from Maple and Clarendon area who were requesting a lot of assistance in entertainment administration for themselves and their families, successor rights issues, building up about their heritage as people involved in the music industry, in the arts industry, in various ways. So I had quite a few people from that region who came to the office. And I actually decided to kind of, I got very, very, very excited of the possibility that they were asking me to come there. But more so because I had so many queries and so many concerns about the use of the rights in the industry. How do we do these things with the agreements and the rights, because we don't want to be fighting about it. So I had a lot of queries about that.
All right, so look here. We just got through Reggae Month. Was there any workshops like this that was included in the Reggae Month? And I noticed that this is like outside of the Reggae Month thing, but you tried to present it in a Reggae Month context, or you just decide that you just do it separately, or how that work?
Well, I didn't even think about the month as such, because I actually was trying to get it in February.
Yeah.
Not because of Reggae Month, but as early as possible.
Okay.
But for some reason, the clashing of the venue with other activities didn't, it didn't allow it.
Okay.
So it had to be pushed back to March.
All right. So what is the main, in your community there in Atlanta, what is the main problem that these upcoming or young artists have that they would like to answer to?
Well, first of all, my father and my mother was in the entertainment industry. They have been sick for years, and what do I do there? I can't get any income. I can't see them getting the income anymore from PRS and from the various societies. What do I do? That's one of those very popular questions.
Okay.
My parents had been alive and has died.
Okay.
And we are stuck here. We don't know what to do.
These are people who them parents was artists, or them is artists, but them not collecting. Which one?
The parents were artists.
Oh, so some of the vintage artists them.
Yes.
Pass away.
And then you have some of them being young now, and they're asking, so who owns the rights for this and that?
Yeah.
Because I do this and put my thing there, sign it, and this man claiming that, and how this go?
Yeah. You see, I find that nowadays with this digital thing, because even in our area to now, them have a digital library, and a whole heap of man, I keeping saying it over and over, that a whole heap of youth who claim, quote unquote, a local boss, them come with them CD, and them get the CD, but the CD it don't have nothing on it. It's a blank CD. Them just run the tune on the CD and bring it to the disc jack. And when you put like your computer up a play, you see track 1, track 2. Them don't put them name on the CD. Sometimes them put the name on it and you think it's the label name. So when you play the tune, you don't know how to introduce the song. I don't know if you're going to really tackle situations like that, because it's really a big problem with young artists who claim to them a local boss. Them don't know them can't get no boss if them don't have information on them CD. That's if a disc jockey play it, or if in a time to come somebody hear it, them want to really say, wait, I like a tune the way you play that day, and it's which artist that. You can't, or with the name of the tune, you can't tell them nothing. And then, them never get for calico for that. I mean, you're going to address something like that?
Yes, one of the main things that I will be speaking about is the codes, different codes that the various collection management organizations for royalties, what they use and how how to embed it into the various master tracks before you finally save it when you've mastered it. And then how to also apply it to the various, we call it putting it in metadata information, putting in the metadata information on the audio track or video track. So, yes, I will be going through all of that. We have JAM's representative coming to also present on those things, because it's one of the burdens that we have, that the tracking system for each recording and video is not going as fast as we need it to in this modern technological age. And so everybody needs to be educated on it very quickly.
All right, so this is a workshop, Entertainment Administration for Families and Earnings through Visual and Performing Arts Royalties. Tell the people when it's going to happen.
Yes, Saturday, March 17, 2018. It's going to be at 37 Chapelton Road in Maypen, Clarendon. And it's from 10 a.m. And that is our new life, the Alpha New Life in Christ Ministries International Church building. And then we're going to start at 10 a.m. sharp and finish at 4 p.m. because we have a lot to go through. It's going to be quite a lot of information that people can actually start to plan how to earn using these added value products and talents.
All right. And the registration fee is $1,000?
Yes, that's right. $1,000.
And this is for all the days, not for separate speakers, right?
That's just for the whole day, one fee for the whole day.
Okay.
And of course, they will have people there selling lunch, so they can always get a little lunch if they want. But,
all right. All right. If you're interested, you can call 870-5916 or 575-4554. This is the Entertainment Administration for Families and Earnings that will be held in Maypen this Saturday. A very important thing, and I find that most artists don't go to these things, you send something for artists and the musician them, and when you're looking at the place, nobody in there a musician and nobody in there an artist, especially the so-called bigger artists them, who actually need the advice but refuse to take it until something lick them out, them find out, so them start to cuss and go on bad. So this is something for you.
May I interject in one thing? The business community, I'd really love them to come out also along with all types of artists, not just musicians and engineers, people who write books, people who speak, people who are even, narrators, people who are disc jockeys, show hosts, anybody. They all need to be there because there's an added value royalty for each one of those groups.
Of course.
Dancers, artists, graphic artists, and they all need to be there. And bank representatives, everybody, because we're going to go through the difficulties and also the right way to write up the paperwork for these types of collections and so on.
Yeah, okay. All right, Mama, give thanks.
Yes.
Give thanks.
Thank you so much.
I'm hoping that it will be successful, especially like how long in a country they have no whole heap of ones to turn out. Town want them. Right. They want them in a town kind of almost arrogant for certain things. Them no want go at them like them know and them don't know. Really. So we give thanks.
Yes, give thanks for real. Thank you so much.
When we say that. All right, Jai, give thanks.
Yes. Blessing to everyone,
Yeah. Jai Fairclough, this is she said not a symposium, so make I say it right. It's workshop. Entertainment Administration for Families and Earnings through Visual and Performing Arts Royalties. This will be held on Saturday, March 17th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Alpha New Life in Christ Ministry International, 37 Chapelton Road, Maypen, Clarendon. Registration fee is $1,000 and you can call 870-5916 or 575-4554 for registration. It's all about the performing arts. So, for those of you in the vicinity, or if you're not in the vicinity, you can check it out. Very important. Very, very important. And she's going to talk about women. Simple.
Welcome to Jamaican Roots and Culture. I'm Pat Clark. March 8 is observed annually as International Women's Day. And this week in Jamaican Roots and Culture, we'll explore the role of women in the fight against slavery.
With a woman's love, a man can move mountains.
The role that women played in the emancipation movement in Jamaica is a story largely untold. Did you know that it was a woman who threw the first stone at the enslavers during the Morant Bay Rebellion? Why did women like Nanny and millions of other Akan and Igbo women captured from parts of West Africa, such as the Gold Coast, put their lives on line in the struggle for freedom? The obvious reason is that slavery was one of the greatest crimes against humanity. Enslaved women were subjected to various forms of exploitation. They were exploited physically, emotionally, and mentally. These forms of exploitation caused them to launch a desperate struggle for liberation. As field laborers, plantation owners placed great physical strain on enslaved women, and drivers and overseers subjected their bodies to severe beatings. Enslaved women were open to sexual exploitation to a far greater degree than enslaved men. No laws prevented male enslavers from claiming violent access to enslaved women's bodies, so white men not only raped them, but along with their female enslavers, sold their bodies for organized prostitution. Thomas Thistlewood from Lincolnshire, who owned and managed properties in western Jamaica, provides the best example so far of a slave-owning rapist. We know about him because he left detailed journals, over 10,000 pages, that revealed that he sexually abused practically every enslaved female located on Vineyard Pen, Breadnut Island Pen, and Egypt sugar plantations during the years 1751 to 1786. Betty, Chrissy, Hago, Juba, Marina, Fiba, his concubine for 33 years, and Sylvia were among those he raped. Indeed, exploitation in the fields and factories and sexploitation in enslavers' households provided the context for women's emancipation struggles. Running away was a common form of removing the body from the site of the oppression, and the records are full of examples of maroon women. Nanny, of course, is best known to Jamaicans, but there were others. Abigail and Mary, Congo Sally were a few who would not be confined to Thistlewood's property despite severe punishment. Sally, in whom Thistlewood had a sexual interest, was a strong survivalist character who ran away constantly despite the consequences. As a result of the fact that their bodies were targets in the enslavers' efforts to control them, enslaved women used their bodies in addition to their voices and minds in the Emancipation Project. They did so despite the physical consequences of such actions. Enslaved women raised their voices in liberation songs and used their voices to curse those who brought them to a slave auction or oppressed them generally. In her book entitled Harmony, author Mary Gaunt gave an account of the experience of Maria, who was wrongfully enslaved and shipped to Jamaica and brought to a St. Anne enslaver. She resisted both the Middle Passage and her sale. Gaunt wrote of the way in which Maria used her voice and body language to abuse her purchaser and his colleague, and registered her views about the injustices of her capture, shipment, and auction. Enslaved women petitioned attorneys to get unpopular or particularly harsh overseers dismissed, and they also went on strike in order to force compliance with their wishes. Strikes were also resorted to when customary allowances such as time to work provision grounds and to go to the markets were reduced or withheld. Women practiced gynecological resistance, especially after 1807 when the slave trade was abolished. Armed with the knowledge that no new captives could be imported and that only they could prolong slavery by bearing future workers, enslaved women sought to free their enchained wombs, using every herb at their disposal to abort pregnancies that, despite their best efforts, occurred. Enslaved women in Jamaica played active roles in armed rebellions. Many of them were involved in the conspiracies and violent outbreaks. Mary Ann Reed is the most important female figure implicated in the 1824 slave conspiracy located in Hanover. The mere fact that Jamaica has a national heroine, Nanny of the Maroons, is a powerful indication that Jamaican women are strong and will do whatever it takes to gain and maintain the human rights and civil liberties that they deserve. And now, to end Jamaican roots and culture, here is a wise quotation from the Black diaspora. The cost of liberty is less than the price of repression. W.E.B. Du Bois. For Jamaican Roots and Culture, I'm Pat Clark.
Yeah, that's a powerful 5-minute piece from Pat Clark about women. I don't know how much you know that, but did you know that there is a village of women in Kenya? These women, they don't allow men to come on them in them village. It's an all-female village in Kenya. And these women, what they do is, how they make money is beaded work. They do beaded works and sell it to tourists. But how it start out is that, you know, they still have genital, well, we could call it circumcision, female circumcision in Africa, India too. And opposing it, they decided that they would run away from the village where the men them is and set up them own thing. And for all the women them who get beat up by them man and all them things, them run go to that village and them don't allow man to go down there. Yeah, man, in Kenya, I don't remember the name of the group, a woman, but it's a, I mean, we are talking about today as we speak, there is a community in Kenya with peer women. Them don't allow men to come in at the village because of the things them that has been done to them, whether by tradition, cultural tradition, or by just abuse. So, yes, it's a serious thing. This is the cutting edge. We're there with you.
Women should be a priority, respected and upheld in society, given all the proper notoriety, never used or abused by authority figures like the media that trashes us, play down the hype that constantly bashes our image. TV, movies, and the videos use women's bodies to create a sick sideshow. Too many times seen as a sex symbol. No real intelligence, just a brainless bimbo. Not taken seriously for who she needs to be. A human being with the right to be free. Not misinterpreted so much of the time. A no means yes, only in a man's mind. Women who struggle and shout, take back the night, are often viewed by others in the wrong light. The daily violence of rape, don't misconstrue. It is a fact of life, and it could happen to you. You could be walking down the street, a gang of miscreants you happen to meet, high on drugs or whatever the case. They pull a knife, or hold a gun to your face. You cry, yo, can't you see I'm a man? But they just laugh and get down with their funky scam. You left to wonder, can I still call myself a man? Maybe the plight of women you can now understand. Stand up and check our history. Correctly line and define our identity. No more distortion. Here, but in a true proportion. Erase the guise of lies that has you dissing me. Check for our past and what we gave humanity. Life from the womb of creation. Was born the earth, the mother of all habitation. And from her loins, the beginning population. Some call her Eve, others call her Lucy. Some try to blame her for the problems of society. But since we know that it was men who wrote the books, perhaps we need to re-examine. Take another look into Africa. The black land they called Al-Kabulan. Here is the story that teaches of our former glory. Of queens and warriors, women strong and brave, who used to be subdued or taught how to behave. They clearly understood the power within comes from God and should not be dictated by men. Some ruled the nation seated on a throne. Some led in battle, fighting to protect their homes. Some studied nature, sciences of healing. Religion and the arts reflect their deepest feeling. Music, the list is practically endless. The contributions we have made are quite timeless. In almost every category you will find us singing or playing instruments. Upon the world we make our mark, we make a serious dent. We have influence of sound. We offer soul that nowhere else can be found. Touching the feelings that are rich and profound. Word, let's talk about some writers who use the pen and pages weapons of a fighter. Educating through the poetry and prose, their essays and the novels and the stories that drove a message with a rhythmical smear into our conscious minds to make us adhere to life and its reality. Uncovering the clouds of mystery, creating hope or fulfilling our destiny. Check out the world, check out your nation. No respect for women is a no-win situation. We got to raise it to an up-iration. Keep your love for women on an Irie meditation. Cause women are the teachers and the healers of the land. Y'all know what I'm saying, so come on and take a stand to love and protect all the women in your life. Your mother and your sister and your daughter and your wife, your great-grandmother, significant others, and even all the women you don't know from one another. And the world's gonna be a whole better place. But so much more important, we may save the race. So women should be a priority, respected and upheld in society, given all the proper notoriety, never used or abused by authority. Women should be a priority. 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 Women.
This is Iamla Van Zandt, author of Acts of Faith, and you are listening to Mutabaruka.
Yes, sweet honey in the rock, exalting the female. That is something where religion don't do. Exalt the female. Okay, so we'll tell you, say we'll start a little thing on Stepping Razor for 2 weeks. And we play 2 clips. We call it Click the Clips. Click the Clips. That is what we call it. So we played last week, we played this about who own the world. And we get some call to say, Muta play it back on the cutting edge. And play it back next week on the Stepping Razor. Well, one thing we're not going to do, definitely, we're not going to play it back on the Stepping Razor. Because we have others to play, but we will oblige the listeners, to those of you who heard it before and want to hear it again. We want to play this clip. Very, very interesting. Listen to it. Very interesting. Okay? All right. So here goes now.
Hey, 42 here. In Athens, in the state of Georgia, there is a tree that owns itself. This tree is the only tree in the world that is the legal landowner of the land it lives upon. Having fond memories of the tree when growing up, the landowner, William H. Jackson, wanted to protect the tree forever. So, in the early 1800s, he went to court and transferred the deeds for the land in an 8-foot radius around the tree from himself to the tree. To this day, the legality of the tree's property rights have never been questioned. Planet Earth has 57 million square miles of land, or 36 billion acres. And until the day comes when we set foot on other planets, that's all the land we have. Land, therefore, is the most limited commodity we have. Thus, it comes at a great price. As the population increases and more homes are needed to house the next generation, the demand for land increases. In the past 10 years alone, land prices have trebled in some countries. But who owns the world? And I'm not talking about power or money, but the actual earth you stand upon. From the wilds of Alaska to Mongolia, who really owns the dirt and gravel beneath your feet? And more importantly, who owns your house and the land it sits on? Is it really you? Or is it in fact the bank, the government, or some kind of landed gentry? Let's start with America and its 2.3 billion acres of land across 50 states. The biggest landowner in America is cable billionaire John Malone, who owns a staggering 2.2 million acres. He owns enormous ranches in Wyoming, New Mexico, and Colorado. Oh, he also owns Humewood Castle in Ireland because he thought it was pretty. Malone is closely followed by Ted Turner, who owns 2 million acres of American land across 7 states. He is a media mogul who founded CNN. Turner's land includes 14 ranches, 28 homes, and the world's largest herd of privately owned bison. He also has 4 girlfriends. He spends a week with each one per month. Because if you're a 78-year-old billionaire who owns a massive chunk of America, then why the hell not? An Englishman's home is his castle. No matter how big or small, your humble abode is yours, and no one can ever take it away from you. Or can they? And come to think of it, is it really yours? If you own your home via leasehold, then you have zero right to the ownership of your property or its land. Absolutely none. You are simply renting the property and have decided to pay for the next 99 years' rent up front. The freeholder is the true owner of the land and everything upon it. He or she is your landlord for the next 99 plus years. If you are wealthy enough to own a flat or even a house in London, then you probably don't actually own it or the land. This guy does instead. 26-year-old Hugh Grosvenor, the 7th Duke of Westminster, who owns about half of London. He is worth over £12 billion, making him the richest person under 30 years old in the world. And you are simply renting from him for a very, very long time. But what if you do own the freehold to your property? And what if you've paid off your mortgage with no interference from the bank? Then you must be the one true owner of your castle and its land. Well, not quite. I'm sorry to burst your dream of setting up your own country in your back garden, but you don't land ownership, which is fuzzy at best, but it means that you may hold the right to a piece of land and its title, but you don't absolutely own it. In most countries, the government owns the entirety of the land in that country. All you own is the title to that land, giving you certain rights to it, but not absolute ownership. And the government can forcefully buy your house and land off you and evict you at any time. If, for example, they wish to build a bypass through your home. Well, you've got to build bypasses. This is true for every country in the world. After all, if the government didn't own 100% of the land within that country, then it wouldn't really be a complete country now, would it? It would be Spain, minus all these little plots of land where people have purchased property. Each property owner would essentially own their own little country, and maps of the world would get really, really complicated. So, countries just have to own 100% of their land in order to create and enforce laws within their boundaries. But in truth, there is no such thing as outright true land ownership. The laws surrounding land ownership are really messy, and they change completely depending on which country you're in. In reality, you have essentially paid for some rights over a piece of land. But your rights to the land are overlapped by the rights of other bodies, such as the government and the monarchy, if there is one. Speaking of monarchies, that's when things get really complicated. For example, in England, the absolute landowner is not the government, but the Crown, an independent body who acts on behalf of Her Majesty the Queen. Queen Elizabeth II owns every square inch of land of the United Kingdom. When you buy a property in the UK, you are simply put on a map called the Land Registry to identify that you own the title to that plot of land. In reality, you don't own the land. you hold it. You are a tenant of the crown. If you were to really buy that land outright, then you would have to draw up a sales contract between you, Her Majesty the Queen, and the government, who have certain historic legal ties with the crown. But that would just be one less place for Elizabeth to drive her Land Rover and walk her corgis, so I don't think that's going to happen. One element of the law that exemplifies the fact that you don't actually own your own land is that if you strike oil on your private land in the UK, you have no right to it. The Crown automatically owns any oil or other valuable minerals found below private properties, and all you're entitled to is compensation to replace the soil once all the oil has been extracted and sold for lots and lots of money, none of which you will ever see. But the British Isles is not all that Her Majesty the Queen owns. Far from it. As a matter of fact, Queen Elizabeth II is the largest landowner in the world, by a large margin. The Queen owns 1/6 of the Earth's land. And she is the only person in the world that owns entire countries. Queen Elizabeth II owns 6.6 billion acres of land, and she is head of state of 16 countries, collectively known as the Commonwealth Realm. She owns the entire countries of Canada and Australia, which are the second and sixth largest countries in the world, respectively. The Queen's total land holdings are worth an estimated £25 trillion, which makes her, by a considerable margin, the wealthiest person on the planet. But it's not quite as simple as that. She is more of a ceremonial owner of said countries. While she does technically own the land, the individual countries' governments have ownership of the titles of the lands, and they profit from it. The Crown doesn't actually see any profit from much of its land holdings. Because of this, the Queen's actual estimated wealth is somewhere around £275 million. I mean, that's not to be sniffed at, but it's rather measly for somebody who owns 1/6 of the planet, excluding oceans. She also owns a drive-through McDonald's in Slough, because why not when you're Queen? But, symbolic or not, she is undoubtedly the world's largest landholder. So, who then is following in her footsteps? Well, that would be King Salman of Saudi Arabia, who inherited the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia after the recent death of his half-brother, King Abdullah. He owns 553 million acres in total, just 8% of what the Queen owns. But those 553 million acres are rich in oil, which gives the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia a GDP of $646 billion. At number 3 on the landowner list is none other than Pope Francis. The Pope owns the Vatican City, which is its own nation state. But isn't the Vatican City also the smallest country in the world? Yes, it most definitely is, at just 108 acres. So then, how does that make the Pope the world's 3rd largest landowner? Well, the Roman Catholic Church actually owns 177 million acres of land worldwide, which means that the Pope owns 177 million acres of land. That, of course, includes every one of their religious institutions, dioceses, and the Vatican-owned embassies to the Holy See, which are in 81 countries. If all land was divided equally between every person on the planet, then every single person would own roughly 5 acres of land, just over 3 football pitches each. But of course, it isn't. Land ownership has always been about power, wealth, and social class, and it still is. Every time you mow your lawn, you are imitating the aristocrats of the past. In a very figurative sense, of course, because wealthy aristocrats definitely didn't mow their own lawns. You see, the reason that lawns were invented in the first place was to show off and demonstrate power. It was a way of saying, hey, look everyone, we're so rich we can afford to own and maintain vast areas of land which we have no real use for. But look, isn't it impressive, with its shrubberies, mazes and fountains? Yes, lots and lots of fountains. In medieval times, 100% of the land your average person owned was used to either build upon and live in, or to grow food to feed your family. Most people would starve if they decided to grow topiary instead of cabbages. You can't eat topiary. I've tried. So, wealthy kings, princes, lords and ladies would purposely clear all trees from their excessive areas of unused land and grow grass upon it instead, creating a meadow or lawn. This served two purposes. Firstly, it was now far easier to spot people trying to invade their castle. And secondly, they could now show off how much spare land they had lying around. This was even more impressive back then, because, of course, the lawnmower didn't exist. Neatly trimmed grass lawns had to be painstakingly cut by hand by servants wielding scythes and shears. The Palace of Versailles is a prime example of this showy offering. Even with modern gardening tools, the amount of money, time and manpower that goes into maintaining a garden this stunning is rather impressive. The trend of maintaining lawns to impress others has continued throughout the centuries, and although the lawns have become significantly smaller with an ever-increasing population, your neighbour will probably still sneer at it if you don't keep it nicely trimmed, because this medieval tradition has become ingrained within our culture. But who cares if it's exorbitant and completely unnecessary? You are the king of your castle. And okay, you don't actually own your castle, but who cares? Get out there and mow your lawn.
So, it's a very interesting argument about this land thing, where I'm saying the reason why these Europeans create this idea of land is to show off them land. You know, in Africa, most of the land is used to plant food or build house span. You know, but as you can see, we have adapted a lot of the European way of logics. So they have these big land with only a fountain pan it just to show off. And then they get Africans who they turn into slaves for really keep the land manicured and pedicured and all the cure that them can find. Very interesting about the Queen owning of the biggest landowner in the world. So you know, say every Commonwealth country is the Queen land that. You know, one of the things them in a Zimbabwe is that the white people them was planting a lot of flowers to send to Europe, to sell to Europe. And the government see that this not helping the African them in Africa to plant flowers for export it to Europe. That was one of the things them why the land was seized, because of the tendency to want flowers. It's like the idea of planting cane in the Caribbean here. The tendency for sugar and rum was the main thrust behind sugarcane farming. And because them couldn't stand the sun and the cane and the back bearing thing of planting cane, them did have to start a industry that them call the slave trade. And this industry allowed them to get rich and drunk in the process. So we come now and we adapt a lot of these things. We see a lot of the young people them right now gone into this alcohol thing, and a whole heap of them now is losing them brains. You thought ganja was a problem. Well, I want to tell the whosoever responsible for all these things, if one thinks that ganja was a problem, look how we are going now with alcohol amongst young people and school children too. School children. This is the cutting edge on RFM.
There's a massive warehouse clearance now on at Home and Things. Not 30, not 40, but up to 50% off.
What? Up to 50% off?
Yes, up to 50% off. Come select from the widest selection of tiles, bathroom fixtures and faucets, doors, windows, lighting, paints, and much more. All at unbeatable prices.
Sweet! The massive warehouse clearance at Home and Things, Old Hope Road and Constant Spring just big.
It's massive.
Your taxes hold the key.
This tax season, you can file and pay your final income tax return for 2017 and an estimated return for 2018 on time and online. Get support in so many ways using our enhanced web services. Customer Care Center 1-888-TAX-HELP. Special Taxpayer Assistance Program. Schedule available online and our information hub at jamaicatax.gov.jm. Don't wait till it's too late. File and pay on time and online. Tax Administration Jamaica, changing the way we do business.
In the house, and we need a little sweet more. Stepping out, need a drink before we walk up. Bust a lyrics, soft drink from Alaska. Link up the crew and everybody walk out. Full of lyrics, I'm in love with the sweet part. This badness has something for tweet about. Flavor nice every night, my dream about. Now the whole place I talk about. What's the lyrics? What's the lyrics? The last go stop drink, you're winning, yeah. What's the lyrics? What's the lyrics? No gimmicks. Sweet words with the soft drink and I say it. Builds the vibes. These lyrics from last come, good times are right. So shout out to the ladies and big up to the guys. The sweet mountain need it and the lyrics provide. Full of lyrics, I'm in love with the sweet words. This badness has something for tweet about. Flavor nice every night, my dream about. Now the whole place I talk about. What's the lyrics? What's the lyrics? The last go stop drink, you're winning, yeah. What's the lyrics? What's the lyrics? No gimmicks. Sweet words with the lyrics. Bring the party.
Let the party start. Come jump, be in the mix and get your free Smirnoff branded Carnival Cup when you purchase any Smirnoff 750 ml. So you can try out some brand new Carnival cocktails. If you're curious about a Smirnoff Icy Waistline, a Smirnoff Walk Up and more, then catch this offer at participating supermarkets island-wide. Smirnoff, the spirit of Carnival. Must be 18 years or older. Enjoy responsibly.
Portland's best-kept secret. Nestled amongst Portland's unmatchable flora and fauna is the beautiful Bayview Eco Resort and Spa. Air-conditioned rooms from standard to superior and junior suites. Restaurant and bar, full spa and services, free Wi-Fi. Ask about our weekly specials. Call us 993-3118 or 622-3245. Escape to serenity. Bayview Eco Resort and Spa.
It's time for another March Madness sale at Cable Hardware on Friday the 23rd and Saturday the 24th of March. Get up to 30% off on shower enclosures, jacuzzis, electrical products and massive discounts on tiles, doors, windows, bathroom fixtures, building materials and much more. Come get big savings on everything you need for your home. Cable Hardware, 22 King Street, Linston and 94 Great George Street, Savannah Lamar. From foundation to finishes, delivery available. Conditions apply.
It's the launch of Season 8 of the Ray and Nephew Contender, brought to you in association with Real Deal and Uprising Promotions. It's the return of the champion as Kamal the Hitman Russell defends his title against Michi the Mexican sensation Munoz, along with 5 other undercard professional fights and 2 amateur fights. Come to the National Arena and see 4-time world champion Evander Holyfield Friday, March 16th. Gates open 6 p.m. General tickets only $1,000. VIP $2,500 pre-sold and $3,000 at the gate. Enjoy Ray and Nephew rum specials all night. Season 8 is all about our boxing greats on the Ray and Nephew Contender.
Must be 18 years or older to drink. Drink responsibly.
Big Things at One continues at Digicel. We're having a one-day sale with smartphones as low as $3,450. Get $2,000 off any smartphone purchase plus a free 14-day NAV data more talk plan. Or purchase a prepaid SIM and get $500 free credit plus a free 28 days NAV data more talk plan. Offer valid for March 14 only and available at all Digicel dealer stores island-wide. Conditions apply. Digicel.
I came to win.
It's that time again for the Jamaica International Kite Festival and Family Fun Day at our new home, Grizzlies Plantation Cove, Richmond, Prairie, St. Anne. Easter Monday, April 2. Live on stage, Capleton, Sanchez, Elephant Man, Shano, Beanie Man, I-Octane, Christopher Martin, Richie Spice, Etana, QQ, Singer J, and much more. Gates open at 10 a.m. Admission adults $2,000 before 5, $2,500 after. Kids $500. Be there.
The boys are back home. It's been a while since a home turf outing waiting, so JA fans, this one's for you. Come see your reggae boys taking on Antigua and Barbuda Sunday the 25th of March at Sabina Park. Match time 5 p.m. Reggae football mount vibes by Renaissance Disco from 3 p.m. It's a matchup you do not want to miss. George Headley $1,500, North Stand $2,500, $4,000 for the Vibes mount. For ticket information, visit JFF Live social media pages at JFF_football.
Thursday afternoon from 12:15 to 1:15 on Easy Skanking. We heights up heart, mind, and soul to soul.
Then testosterone element. Show the wicked nation.
Friday evening, IRFM brings you the Vander Holyfield Real Deal Uprising. Live from the National Arena, Kemal Russell defends his junior NABF middleweight title against Mexican Michi Munoz. It's mariachi versus reggae. Join Roots Rocking reporter, yours truly, on the Sporting Choice at the Squared Circle with all the updates live. The Vander Holyfield Real Deal Uprising this Friday. 7 boxing matches of skill, speed and power, brought to you courtesy of Ray and Nephew.
Let's get ready for
Crushing defeats, heart-wrenching results, and winning joyful smiles, all combined with satisfying gestures. Just a small part of this historical and monumentous platitude. The eventful and always competitive ISSA Boys and Girls Athletics Championships 2018 edition beckons, and here we go again. National Stadium, March 20 to 24. On the girls' side, Edwin Allen looks the pick of the paddock, while the likes of Homewood Technical, San Diego Hidell are beaming with winning ambitions. For the boys' crown, the Bar, Calabar the Star are 7th heaven bound. But Kingston College, Jamaica College, San Diego could seize the food. Hungry. IRFM brings you live and continuous coverage, all courtesy of the Ochoria Sports Center, your highest and Costa parts specialist. Now in stock, Mazda and Subaru hard to get parts. Bashco, a store that gives you more. Public Sector Credit Union, where your financial security matters most. Slavco Wholesale, 9 3/4 Linders Road, Kingston 5. Call us at 665-4132. Slavco, loyal, serving you only. No glove, no love, glass condom. From Slam for long and strong. The Edna Manley College of the Visual and Performing Arts, providing a creative education for your career. Create your career now. Felix in the Springs, Shop 4, Springs Plaza Halfway Tree. It's Felix, just feel it. And Megamart, a store that gives you more. That's Champs Coverage 2018 with the Glory Lane Momentum, live on IRFM.
IRFM, I didn't lick that.
The spotlight turns to Gordon Town this Thursday when the University of Technology Department of Community Service and Development, in association with the Highlight View CDC, presents Happy Wellness Fest 2018 at the Gordon Town Square, starting at 10 in the morning. Come get free dental care, doctor's examination, optical, diabetes, and blood pressure check, as well as free services from the RGD and the NIS. The People's Station, IRFM, will be live on location from 10:35 a.m. to highlight the happenings as they unfold. Courtesy of the Citizen Security and Justice Program, CSJP. That's live link from the Papine Wellness Fest in Gordon Town Square this Thursday on the nation's #1 IRFM.
Heartbeat of the nation, of the nation, of the nation.
Yes, yeah, man, we're still there. We're still there. We're there with you, man. Trust me.
terrible, about just where math came from. All of the pictures that they've shown out of Africa, they've never really educated the Americans, white or black, about what really goes on in Africa, what some of the cities are really like. And that we're not running around over there with Tarzan, and when they show anything from Africa, even down to today, they pick the worst scenes, the most terrible situations, and they show those. But we have a proud history. But of course, what we did in Egypt 5,000 years ago, or what we did in China 35,000 years ago, is of no benefit if we don't understand what to do today and how that would help us to survive. We discovered the clock. We did discover the wheel. The black man has never been a caveman. You've never been in a cave. There's no history of it. You've ever been in a cave. We discovered mathematics and the alphabet and writing and all of those great things that they have built a foundation on, that they came and got and took back to other countries. We don't know what Africa would be like without the white influence. We don't know what it would be like without the Rockefellers and De Beers and all of them. We don't know what Africa would have been like. We do know that there were greater places in Africa other than Egypt, which is the only one they let us know about.
Concurrently and simultaneously during the Pyramid Age, there are great things happening in West Africa. But very seldom. There are nations known as Dar-Tichet. Dar-Tichet would geographically presently be located where Ghana is. We had the Nak culture, which is where we today would call Nigeria. We have the Monomotapa Empire in what today we call Zimbabwe. There are over 300 stone structures in southern Africa. And here you have that great structure in the great Zimbabwe that shows a direct relationship to the Grand Lodge of Luxor in Egypt. You have Puanit, which is in today's Somalia, Ethiopia. You have the Kush empires that are simultaneously happening. When Hatshepsut, the great Pharaoh king, although she was a woman, she was a Pharaoh king, sitting on the throne of Kemet, her cousin sits on the throne of Puanit, or what we call Somalia. There are great things happening historically across the African continent. You have the kingdoms of Kuba and Luba in Central Africa.
Mansa Musa was the king of Mali in the 1300s. Very wealthy brother. During the dark age of Europe was going through a dark age. Africa was thriving. It was the gold capital. Mansa Musa was considered the wealthiest man on the planet at the time. Mansa Musa had a very well-known pilgrimage to Mecca, where he went to Egypt and went to Mecca and went through Egypt, and he gave out so much gold it threw off the Egyptian economy. In today's terms, Mansa Musa gave away what would be the equivalent of $100 million in gold.
The African was the first race to circumnavigate the entire globe.
All over Africa, all over the world, the peoples of color that they call Africans, South Tubulanians, we were all over the world. So to say that in Ghana they had the Ashanti, they had, all over, we had powerful dynasties, so innumerable we couldn't even name them. Because remember, we had hundreds of thousands of years, and that's the secret. They cut us off at 6,000 because anything beyond that they could say is mystery. They could say is myth. So when you control the information, which is essentially what they've learned to do, under the Vatican they have about 6 to 8 miles of storage space that have all of our artifacts. And the Virgin Mother being black, all of the faces. We have to take apart the layers that are actually constructed in the lie. They're layered. For instance, you have a discipline in academia called Egyptology. Now, what is Egyptology? They say, well, it's the study of Egypt. Well, no, it's not the study of Egypt. Egyptology was created by the Vatican in order to make sure that there was a screening mechanism in place to explain away the truth that was being excavated every year that kept giving them proof of who the ancient Kemites were. So Egyptology and Egyptologists are essentially agents of this information. Where else do you see a society, a people, and a way of life actually become a science? unless you have specific purposes to make sure that the information that you are gathering on those people are given the proper perspectives to maintain the lie. So you don't get an Americology, you don't get Europology, you don't get Russiaology.
Richard Pryor, right? When he had his special back in 1977, there's a scene. They only allowed him to do 5 shows. In fact, they were rather ignorant because it took him 5 shows to realize what the brother was really doing. Richard Pryor, there's a scene where he goes in to the pyramids, and he is carrying the bags of the archaeologists and the anthropologists who are of European descent. And they're talking amongst themselves about what this find is and its importance, the greatness of it. And Richard Pryor is in this temple looking all around, and he begins to say, all these people are black. He said, look at that guy over there, that guy look like my uncle. And he's just, it's humorous, but what Richard Pryor is actually talking about is that, these are black people in these pyramids, and these are the people that built these pyramids. He's saying, wait a minute, these people... And then all of a sudden, the camera begins to show the anthropologists of European descent, and they start to nudge each other because they realize, hey, it's a guy carrying bags, is looking around, and he's learning some things in here. So very quietly, you see them backing out of the pyramid, right? And Richard Pryor is still there talking about how great the pyramid is, and then all of a sudden, they show you the door close, and all of a sudden the scene goes black. Which means that was the blackout on the information for black folk to understand their history. This is what Richard Pryor was dropping on us in 1977. This is what actually has happened. Richard was telling us, this is what has happened to us. Because as you become conscious, and brother becomes conscious, and as a community we become conscious, the Europeans who know this are beginning to realize. So they're trying to shut the door on us.
Serious thing. Serious thing. We study Africa most of the time from what Europeans write about Africa. Now it's a different time. We have scholars, African scholars, who write about Africa. And it's imperative that we get some of these books that these African scholars write to see the lion telling his story. Because the lion must tell its story. For too long, the hunter has been telling the story from his perspective. Now the lion must tell his story. And we have lions telling the story. Are we reading or are we listening? Are we listening to the story of the lion? Are we reading the stories that the lion writes about his family, his ancestry, his land? We need to understand how important it is that we write our own story. Very, very important.
Juice made from real Jamaican fruits. Quality, nourishing, refreshing, affordable. This is the truth. Value for your money every time. Everything nice, that's the tagline. Flavors like fruit punch, June plum, ginger pine, guava pine, cherry, orange pine. Let me tell you about nicest sprout juice. Flavors are seasonal. Nicest sprout juice. Different sizes. Nicest sprout juice. For your kids, them nice is nicer than the rest. Simply the best. J Prince said this.
Residents of Liberty Estate, 3 Hills, St. Mary. Your application and payment for connection to the upgraded sewage system is now overdue. You are therefore now liable for disconnection of sewage services effective March 16. We urge you to urgently come into Landmark's office at System 1 Phase 2 Annex and regularize your connection to avoid suspension of your sewage service. If you have already signed up and paid your connection fee, please disregard this notice.
Bring the party. Let the party start.
jump. Be in the mix and get your free Smirnoff branded Carnival Cup when you purchase any Smirnoff 750 ml. So you can try out some brand new Carnival cocktails. If you're curious about a Smirnoff Icy Waistline, a Smirnoff Walk Up, and more, then catch this offer at participating supermarkets island-wide. Smirnoff, the spirit of Carnival. Must be 18 years or older. Enjoy responsibly.
Jamaica. The Petroleum Corporation of Jamaica's search for oil and gas is moving forward. In March 2018, the exploration company Turner Oil will conduct the first ever 3D seismic survey in the waters off Jamaica's south coast. A survey vessel will capture detailed 3D images of rock layers beneath the seafloor to identify potential oil and gas reservoirs. If the results are positive, the next phase could involve the drilling of an exploratory well. For more information, visit the PCJ's website at pcj.com.
Watch another world artist progress represent for Brownstone Kite Festival, April the 1st. Easter Sunday, place to be Addison Park, Brownstone. And you don't know, performance by Progress, Virgin, Shano. Music by Mark Movement Sound. Hosted by them boy, Madam Frost Groovers. Admission $1,000 at the gate, children $300. $1,000 for rides all day. You know, for boot rental, they can contact 832-4071 or 597-5454. Biggest kite that can fly wins 20,000. Most creative kite that can fly wins 10,000.
It's the launch of Season 8 of the Ray Nephew Contender, brought to you in association with Evander Holyfield's Real Deal and Uprising Promotions. The champion Kamal the Hitman Russell returns home to defend his junior NABF middleweight title against Mishi the Mexican sensation Munoz. Come to the National Arena. Gates open 6 p.m. General tickets only 1,000. VIP 2,500 pre-sold and 3,000 at the gate. Pre-sold tickets available at Total Stanton Terrace, Total Dunrobin and Western Sports Retail in Twin Gates Plaza. Tickets available at touchstoneticketing.com, Mail Pack Express and select Bill Express locations island-wide. Come support our champion and enjoy Ray Rum specials all night. Season 8 is all about our boxing greats on the Ray and Nephew Contender. Must be 18 years or older to drink. Drink responsibly.
Let's get ready to rumble! This Friday evening, IRFM brings you the Vander Holyfield Real Deal Uprising. Live from the National Arena, Kamal Russell defends his junior NABF middleweight title against Mexican Michi Munoz. It's mariachi versus reggae. Join Roots Rocking reporter, yours truly, on the Sporting Choice at the Squared Circle with all the updates live. The Vander Holyfield Real Deal Uprising this Friday. 7 boxing matches of skill, speed, and power, brought to you courtesy of Ray and Nephew.
Let's get ready to rumble!
The 2018 Love and Harmony Cruise set sail on March 24 to 29.
From Fort Lauderdale to the Caribbean and back with stops in Montego Bay and Grand Cayman.
It will be non-stop parties,
comedy shows,
food,
and excitement for 6 days.
and 5 nights on the Celebrity X Cruise.
IRFM will invade the cruise with our entertainment team.
Featuring the What's the Scoop duo, you see.
70s with Kishima Francis
and yours truly, Courtney Mack.
Catch us live on the 107s, IRFM.net, or on our social media platforms
for daily broadcasts on the parties and events from the high seas as they unfold.
It all comes to you courtesy of
More Life Records, the greatest 12 tracks featuring Franklin Bubla Wall, Dean Fraser and Benji Myers, now available on all social media platforms. Shangri-La Flowers and Gifts, creating memories to last a lifetime. Shop 12, Jane Building, Ocho Rios, and Shop 1, Westgate Shopping Center, Montego Bay. Move Up Records, new singles released from artist Roy Black, Police in Our Area, Draw Nail, and Life is to Live. Available on all social media platforms. Deals and delivery hardware, the Everything Hardware and more. Martin Christie Street, Great Pond, Ocho Rios. Call them today at 974-3377. Better Wheels, your Japanese auto parts dealer instead of Port Antonio and Galena. Better price, better parts. It's Better Wheels. Construction Energy. Construction Energy, #1 in quality from the ground to the crown. Innovative Car Mart Limited for all make, all model Japanese used cars. see it, sign it, drive it at 190 Main Street, Otorios. Call them today at 620-2923. And Exotic Stone Creations, 284 Spanish Stone Road, Kingston. Big sale, March 23 and 24, up to 50% off some items. Triple M Nursing Institute, 1 Gully Road, St. Anne's Bay, changing lives through education. Call them at 467-5123. Easter term registration now on. New Windsor Bridal, 6 Windsor Road, St. Anne's Bay, for a memorable wedding experience. Call us today at 316-9234. Jamaica Warranty Hub. For the first time in Jamaica, auto warranty protection for your vehicle. Shop 819 Main Street, Ojoreos. Telephone 778-3637. And Reed's Windows, Doors and Awnings, where quality is the reality. Visit 75 Main Street, Ojoreos, or call them at 616-1986-7.
Big Things of One continues at Digicel. We're having a one-day sale with smartphones as low as $3,450. Get $2,000 off any smartphone purchase plus a free 14-day NAV data more talk plan. Or purchase a prepaid SIM and get $500 free credit plus a free 28 days NAV data more talk plan. Offer valid for March 14 only and available at all Digicel dealer stores island-wide. Conditions apply. Digicel.
Yes, this is the Cutting Edge on RFM. We're there with you. Who was playing this song? Here goes. You know, all the people in Montego Bay, yes. We see that we hardly hear anything about Montego Bay again. So apparently things has warmed down, cooled down, as would I say. We hope say it's still away there. Them say the curfew going to go until May. So we don't know if they're going to ask for the next extension. But it would just nice if the man them take the couple of months where happen here so and just rethink them position in life. Rethink how them see life. Rethink how them view life. Not only for them life, but other people life. Because we all connected. It's one life, different manifestation. I was tired to say that. But we need someone to sit down and think about them situation over the period of time when them now get involved with murdering people. You know? The soldier and the police them need to find the gun them though. Yes, because if you don't find the gun them and the gun them hide up, when you're not gone, the man them go back for them gun, it's just so. I don't know, I think the most important thing is to find the gun them. You know, so we see the people them kind of more relaxed now and not so tense. We give thanks to that. Give thanks to that. Okay, so we're going to play this. We're going to play this poem here. You know, we want to yell up. I'm not listening still, but anybody who know Larry McDonald, we want to yell him up. We want to yell up Larry McDonald, you know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100, 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, 107, 108, 109, 110, 111, 112, 113, 114, 115, 116 drive from New York, come and Connecticut to see. Give thanks to that. We love how that go because the first brethren ever put music with my poem them, I will perform them. First music, we sold out Little Theatre quite a few times. Larry McDonald and Truth. While Patsy Ricketts was a dancer at the time, and I was a poet at the time. We see Larry McDonald move on and play with Gil Scott Heron, great poet. I hope people don't know that Gil Scott's father was a Jamaican. Larry McDonald, a Jamaican, went on to play percussions for Gil Scott. And then we see Larry McDonald have an album that we have featured on. So why you love Larry McDonald who come for really check you out Saturday, gone in a Connecticut. Why you love all the people them in a Connecticut who come out in the freezer. I tell you, snow like worries. Snow stuck on top of the sidewalk. Everywhere we turn, it's snow. Yes, I know how people come find out if we really coming at the store without shoes. Because that's all we can say. Pure, what they call it, pure cell phone turned to the phone. You can just imagine how much of them depend on the social media now. So he really come up here without shoes in the snow, yeah. That's how it go. Anyway, the reason why we are talking about Larry McDonald is because him come at the thing, and Larry McDonald have a history with poets. You know, myself, yeah. Also Gil Scott. And Gil Scott passed away. Well, Gil Scott's famous poem was "The Revolution Will Not Be Televised." For those of you who know poetry and who know, said that poem is Gil Scott's most famous poem. Well, a brother named D Knowledge, we get to know him after listening to poem. We get to know him. He used to teach at Yale University. We go at Yale University, go take part in that thing named Master's Tea, where them invite us to sit down with some students, specially selected students, and talk. Just talk. Master's Tea. Well, D Knowledge was lecturing. I don't know if he's still a lecturer at Yale University. But him is a poet, and he make a counteraction to Gil Scott's poem. And this is the counteraction. It named "The Revolution Will Be on the Big Screen." Here goes. Yes, cutting edge. Yale.
I bless up Muta, give thanks. Yeah, as every day, you know, women are like to ask you still if you have an idea about the gold thing in Africa, if there's any way in the black race where they process gold and things like that.
If the gold what?
If anywhere in the black race, if you know of anywhere in the black race where they process gold and silver and copper.
When you say process it, what you mean?
Like if they have any factory where they process, like take it from the rock, from like growing in the earth, you know. It's not rock and things like that. So you have to process it from the copper and the silver. And
well,
you know
South Africa?
South Africa didn't do that.
Yeah.
Well, when me
South Africa only put gold and diamond with them process, eh?
When me discover, me identify in the earth and how it grow on the farm and things like that. So me I say, if we as black people could really get that, you know, that piece of wealth back in the race so we can process it and sell the material from it, that was good for the black race. In the black race, it's gold growing enough in the black earth.
Yeah, the problem is that the processing is not black people control the mind, them working there, but none of them control them in South Africa. You know, you have Sierra Leone, you have Zimbabwe, you have Botswana. All of them places there is filled with gold and diamond. You know.
So like, if we in Jamaica have little, we could get it sell in other fields, or we could get it sell, or we could have farm away, or we could have find the world, or we could have really develop a system where we could have process it, get license and process it ourselves, that the well can stay back.
Well, I don't know, brethren, what could have happened, you know, I don't know, because we don't have no gold right so far, them not find, no, them find oil and years, them find oil and gas. So
no, man, gold they run in a region, you mind from the 80s, you know?
No, me not say no there, you know. Me I say within where you are talking about, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know about the processing part, right, and if we are going to process it or whatsoever, you know.
So me I say, like, I have some, because I identify I have some, so if I could get somebody to say...
You have some gold?
Yeah.
Everybody have gold. What people have gold in Jamaica? What kind of gold you have?
Well, me talk about the one that grow at the earth, you know.
No, all of the gold come from the earth, man.
Yeah, we know that, but in the process, you know, the rock one.
So you get the gold, wait, hold on, you get the gold, in Jamaica, you dig it out from?
Yeah, man, out of the side, man.
Are you certified?
Yes, sir. I test it, you know, I'm saying it go test around the world, you know.
No, I mean you test it go round the world. Round the world, like which part you test it round the world?
Well, like, me say, go America, I'm saying, go England, I'm saying, go Canada, I'm send it to me try get it to the people where can test it.
You said, no, hold on, talk straight, man. You say you send the gold, go America for get tests?
Like, me send it to my family, them. And friends who travel overseas.
Oh, you send it to your family for test it?
Like me saying, go give people where have link, we can test it and to find out if it is real. Cause
Yeah.
The thing about it.
And them tell you say it's gold?
Yeah.
And them send it back to you?
Well, they not to send it back. I'm saying if them have it, you know, that them can really want to look into it and start it.
So why you not sell it? Why you not sell it?
Come again?
Why you not sell it?
Well, I say if I would find a way how I could sell it, I would continue to sell it.
What do you mean find a way how to sell it? You buy gold, man?
Yeah, but I mean, all them buy it and we have this is the raw material, you know, you need to process it. Because the gold and the silver go together.
Well, maybe should I tell them to go to Fifth Avenue, which part of the world you them there, and see if they will buy the raw gold without it processed.
Oh, well, you don't know what.
Maybe should I tell your family them to check them. I want a Jewish jewelry store there around in a Manhattan there, you know.
Yeah, but you think about it, you
so, eh?
You think about it, you see, all right. It's really process. You separate the gold and the silver.
No, me know, wait, no, man, me know where you talk about, you know, but when me I say, all right, so now, me don't know nobody who to do that. And you say your family have it up there, so where am I going to do with it now? Because you have to go find somebody to process it according to you. So if somebody process it, where you want them to know? Can you have to go pay them to do that? Or what you going to do when you say them process it?
No, well, if you find a person who buy the raw, we'll tell it like that.
Then people know up there in like New York will buy it, man.
The raw material.
Oh, how much pound, how much carat, how much, sorry, but how big the gold is where you find?
I'll tell you how the gold. You see like when I go in a sand mine or a mall pit, I know it's a mall in it, so you're going to the gold mine and see you find the gold.
No, me know you find. Me say, how much you find? How much?
Well, we pick it up at daily, you know. We can't just go start.
Daily you find the gold, eh?
Yeah, it's not the earth. That's not to say growing at the earth. Naturally.
No, Bridget, something where gold, I know which part gold come from, you know. Wait there.
Eh?
Me know where gold come from, you know. Me I say, the place where you find the first piece, you still have find gold there?
Yeah, man, you can't take it out. You can't.
So how much people know say it there? How much people know say it there?
Well, you see, all right, let me tell you what I know say it there now. The one
Bridget. Nobody can. May I ask you? Not tell me say how you know say it there. You tell me say you find gold there every day.
Yeah, me have it, yeah.
So may I ask you now?
Well, me not make nobody to know, okay? People.
So you want to know say the gold mine there? How you want to know say it there?
Well, I know me want to know it, you know. Me identified in my region because the other people them come around and I'm
all right. So what may I say? How much gold you find it so far? Since you say every day you go there, go get some.
Right now, me have only a cocos bag.
You have cocos bag of gold?
Yeah. Me not start pick it up, you know. Every day me can pick it up. And
you are the only one now of that cocos bag of gold?
Yeah.
Man, you're a multi-millionaire.
Yes, right. Me I look market feet now.
You look market for the gold?
Yeah, I can identify the people around my region. Kind of them a mile and alone, but me identify, I know it, where it is.
All right, so how much of the gold you send go give your family for find out if them can't get it processed?
All right. Me send a couple pieces go around, you know. Me give Andrea Williams some, you know. Me give her some early in the last year. So go and study.
Like how big it is? It's like the hole in your hand, Miguel?
Yeah, small piece. Just like our sand sphere. It grows small, it grows big, it grows medium size, okay. You know what I mean?
Okay. Alright, so all you know is your goal.
Okay, no. Alright. Few years ago, from the region where I come from in the 80s, the mine in South of a region named Gold Mine. From in the 80s where I go to school. You see that?
Okay.
Alright. Few years ago, them come around and say, the white man them come around, say, look, where them can identify a spot, where them can find gold, they identify, they fought here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, man, I hear you.
Anyway, 1 and 2 people give them okay, and them land. 1 and 2 people.
Give them okay upon the land?
Yeah, because they say them look for copper.
Yeah.
They must, them, you know what I mean? So, 1 and 2 people give them okay on the land. So, them come against my land, and them do operation there. And mine from there. And I go there, stand up, and observe, and identify it. And the next day, I go there from 9 o'clock one morning and stay till 5 o'clock. And the next day, I go my side and start picking it up over there. And from there to now, I get to identify more and more. When them leave the spot where them was, then stay 1 month on it. When them leave the spot where them was, I go there and pick up the scrap scissors off of them. You know what I mean?
So let me ask you a question. Hold on there. Let me ask you a question. You find the gold and them never see it?
No, I'm telling you about the white man, they will come around, come mine.
Yeah, me ask if the white man them who mine, them never see the gold.
Them see it, man, them know it, but them not show it, them not know it. People who work with them don't know it, them not take up.
No, the white man, them never know it's a gold.
Them know it, man, them not study it more than we do.
Alright, so if them study so them not dead, they still a mine gold?
Well, them take it up and then take up them mine from more than one side. And them leave from 1 year to year because the time when them try to identify, them use a copter to fly over the era.
Brethren. You tell me, say you go there, go pick up gold every day. And you have a cocos bag of gold. You have a cocos bag. I never say a lie, I tell you no.
No, man.
I understand me, I understand what you say. Alright, listen to me, I say no. Alright, no, wait, don't tell me what happened. Here one now. You tell me, say you go there, go pick up gold every day.
Listen, me can go there, pick up every day.
Yeah, and you tell me, say you have a cocos bag. You tell me, say you have a cocos bag of gold. And you also tell me, say some white man go there, did a mine. Say, the white man, them see this gold and stop mine and go away, and you are the only one where they don't know take the gold.
Listen to now. Listen to me now. Make sure this thing to you, where you understand. Because when you understand it, you know, because that's where I'm angry. I have a minute left. You see, next week Thursday, I come link you, and I carry some come here. You hear me?
No, me never say never happen to no brethren.
No, me never do that, man.
No, me ask you a question. So where the white man them they know?
Me have a minute. It's really just finish.
Where the white man them they know?
Them leave the area, I know.
Them leave the area with the gold, they don't, and let them see the gold down there.
Them stay 1 month on each side, you know, and when them don't pick up more than a container load of gold off our side, because they stay 1 month.
A container load of gold?
Yeah, but them not, I have a reason when me have more credit, I some call.
Well, get credit and call me back.
Yeah, but I want tonight.
Yeah, alright.
But I know in a shop this, you know.
Yes.
Now call link you next week.
White people find gold in Jamaica and
call link you next week, Thursday, I think start. Yes, sir.
Yeah, alright, sir. Yeah. Yes, them store there. Big store them there, you know. Them try to put the headline, man. Man have a crocus bag of gold and process. Some white man dig it up. Them left the area and left the gold there. A serious thing. Yes, yeah.
Yeah, man, I said, the man said redneck them find one container, load on container.
Gone out with a container load of gold. And not come back? Some nice white people, them, man. Yeah, man, the white people, them nice.
We are saying, right now, when we were looking at the House of Parliament, you know, I'm feeling you go reach out people we are seeing there, you know. White and them not black. So them are leaving people, them kind of weird, them not have interest in black people, man, and African people. I look at this one around pay people them. I not disrespect them, so.
Who?
Alisha.
What's about Alisha?
Oh, I disrespect the people them, so man.
Why them I disrespect the people them, so?
I don't know, I'm paying them the money.
Government, them can't disrespect anybody where them want disrespect. Them name government.
Are them are the government or them are the worker?
Well, whether you want to work hard or them are the government, I don't know which system them are work for, but...
So what, and the people are the majority?
The people are the majority, but the people are the government.
The people them are work for?
Well, I saw what they think.
But when we take a check now, we have to see everybody are cry. All the slave workers them are cry. Come, a slave thing I go and sell you know. Yeah. So we need to just let them know so what you know. These things can be going so all the while, day and night, every time people them say deal with the thing. They're supposed to have things where them can solve the problem. Because all the $8 million we're taking a phone call business. All the money they can help state workers, them, you know.
I mean, if it can help you, all them $1 billion where them spending at St. Mary there for election, and almost $600 million where them spend for Bush Road and all them something there where road still a grow up and the little falls patching, where them a patch every 3 months, them patch a road and spend millions of dollars. Them thing they hurt people. You might go about them can't pay this and can't pay that.
Corruption is everything, you know, man. So we know them then, and we see them and we know so what you know. You see what them are going with? There's always action for everything and reaction, you know.
Yeah.
So them need to be careful and know say eyes is on them. Everywhere them turn. You know, but I use up in big mouth and say can frighten people with them big mouth and feel like say, yes, yeah. One man can hold so much people at ransom. Like about some dictatorship thing.
I mean one man can't do, but that them do. I mean one man can't. You have to say that them do.
All the people them for the slap down, all of the civil servants them, both private and everywhere, to slap down the place. I show them say what I don't have no use without me.
Yeah, them now go to that door. Them now go to that door. I go to school yesterday and some of the teachers them still there and some gone home. So you have teachers where all them I tell you about say, boy, them have to protect the student, them interest at heart.
But joke, them are gays, man. Them have some favorite, them things, them are deal with this, so. So one of them should have slapped down the place and no school, not even one school of work, man. Everything should have slapped down. Everywhere. Without apologies, too. Just see that who have exam or exam or nothing. Because most of them look think that I just pay a colonial system and pop up in the youth.
Exam thing a joke business that.
Yeah. So them need to
maybe them lock down the school and the parents them would have been forced to take more responsibility for them picnic too.
Yeah. So we don't have no time for argue and a man come where them put in a power office to come brutalize the system and come brutalize people and disrespect people them kind of way they like to dictatorship thing. You know, I'm so right now, watch out. People are see them. And you can't fool some of the people sometimes, you can't fool all of them all right. So we more than one know, it have a spread. And when it spread, fire have a burn, you know.
Yeah.
You see it and people's heart I feel it. So them feel like say what? Them did it. And them did it with them thing and I said them are fool people, them are fool themselves. And when you're wise, you don't want people to turn fool. But you know, so when people turn fool, all kind of things can happen, you know, all kind of dangerous things. But people now have no conscience again. Everyone like some vampire thing around the place wild. So we need to do better than that. We need to show people them some appreciation. Because they want to, like we say, I don't want to make the thing work. The thing for work, you can't disrespect a fool like that. If you straight up now, man. Don't really look at politics thing, look at favorite thing, and look at those things. I make people have them weird and
them never done with it, you know. Them never done with it. So all we have to do now, come like it does go through 1 year and come. They never done with it.
But Mutabaruka, we don't say it have done still, you know.
Yeah, it have done, but not them, yeah. Not them one year there, so now. It have done, you know, but not them here there, so now.
Oh, get rid of them, man. Get rid of them.
How you going to do that?
And we have to do it. We have to organize and centralize people, man. No matter how long it takes, you know. Let's see.
Them people is
no matter how long it takes, like the either parade and people them, I learn.
Yeah. More some people step on the line, I'll wait for me. I have to go move.
Yeah, so the more them learn, and the more they find say, people are cooperate and cover. People like sufferation all the while, so because a long time we have suffered this agony and this pain and this murderation and this bloodshed, you know, through material things, you know. People them hungry.
Them now go on, so say them now go on like them hungry. Them say majority. Them say them as poor the other day, say the majority of the people them like where the government are doing.
Well, that the poor have to change, you know.
Yeah, well, how you going to change that? May I tell you what happened since we are talking since last week?
I hear it to watch the news all the time and see them deal with them things and know, say, that they must say.
Anyway, we have to move to the bridge because some other people are there that go cost me.
All right, brother.
Yeah, man, blessing. Yes. Okay, so.
Apologize for being black. For all I am plus all I lack. Please, sir, please, ma'am, give me some.
I'm going to come back to that poem there. Yes, Ian.
Hello?
Yes.
Hello, good night, Mr. Baruka.
Good night, sir.
How are you doing today?
I'm all right.
Yes, I'm calling from Florida, first time caller, but long time listener.
You have to take the phone from your mouth, little.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, but you have to move the phone from your mouth, little. It have bubble up in the phone, so you're less too near to the phone.
Oh, okay.
All right. Yes, I see that it's a no. Yes.
Okay, yeah, it's my... I'm calling, but long time listener, you know?
Okay.
Yes, and I was calling because, you know, I get a mark for listening to your program already.
You get a mark?
Yeah, what I mean, I got a mark, you know, from my mom. I was listening to your program. She told me not to listen to the program.
Yeah?
Yeah, and I was trying to lax my ear.
And where's your mark, you know? She licked your cut, you?
Yeah, she hit me with the milk can.
You serious?
Yes, I got the mark right in my knee.
She say enough to listen to me.
But yes, I must not listen to the program.
Okay.
I must not listen to that Rasta man.
Yeah.
But I never. Yes.
All right.
But I also win a poem at my school because other poem that you say, we know where you're up to, big boy.
Oh, yeah, that's a poem of mine poem, yes. One of my poem, long time poem.
Yeah, I love that poem. You know, you
win a prize for it. You win a prize saying it.
Yeah, I win a prize for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So where your mother is now? Where your mother is now?
Well, she passed away, you know.
Okay, sorry about
that. 2 years ago.
3 years?
Yeah, 2 years ago, yeah.
So she sent for you to Florida? She sent for you?
No, she live in England.
Oh, she live in England?
Yeah.
So how you end up at Florida?
I came here on vacation and never went back.
Oh, so what kind of work you do now?
LPN, nurse.
What?
LPN, nurse.
What that?
That's nurse.
Oh, nurse.
Yeah, nurse.
Okay, you're a nurse. So you never visit her in England?
Pardon me?
You never visit your mother in England yet, or you just can't live America?
Yes, I can leave. I went there and visit her.
Okay.
But I stay in the cold too long.
Okay. Okay.
And I just love this program because it helped me a lot in my school work, you know.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that you get a cut for a bruise for listening it, but see, you know, it's still there and you still listen. Give thanks.
Yes, and,
say still listen.
Yes, I'm still living, still listening. I never stop listening.
Okay.
Because one of my friends introduced me to the program.
Yeah. So
tell me something. I was listening and go ahead.
No, all right. So now you listen now. Who you live with?
Well, I live with myself now.
Okay.
But I'm at work.
You're at work now?
I'm listening to my phone.
Oh, yeah?
Yes.
Okay. 1 o'clock in the morning, I at work. I listen to continuation on your phone.
Yeah, you know, I never sleep. When I went to work like 3 o'clock, I don't go home until 7:30 in the morning.
Okay.
Well, and I also even write a song after poem too, and it was Vice, and it's on the YouTube. I wrote it after the poem. We go way up to Big Boy.
Okay. All right, sir. Give thanks. We can call. So why you choose to call tonight? I never call yet.
I've been calling, but every time I call, you know, the phone, the phone thing. Sometimes they have me on hold, and I never get you.
Okay.
So I never stop trying, you know.
Yes, sir. Very, very interesting. Well, you're not the first person to tell me, say, them parents never want them listen, but you're the first person to tell me, say, you get all a bruise and a cut because you listen. So, you know, it's the first I hear that in 20 odd years. I've been hearing a whole heap of youth say them cuss and say, don't listen, but you say, she not going to cuss you, but she lick you, scar you with that thing.
Yeah, because I was putting locks on my hair.
Okay.
She told me to trim.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't trim.
Yeah.
And one day she you know, get tired of it.
Yeah.
Because I was keep on doing it. I find the program interesting, so you know I just keep listening to it.
Yeah. All right, sir. Well,
and you see just take the milk can and show it. It's stuck right in my knee.
You're serious?
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Anyway, give thanks, brethren. Call again, yeah?
Yeah, man. Yes, okay. Keep up the good work.
Yeah, man. Harry, man.
Okay.
Yes. You know, when you hear all them call, you know, you can't stop though, yeah, though. Can't stop. Believe you me.
I apologize for being black, for all I am plus all I lack. Please, sir, please, ma'am, give me some slack, cause I apologize. I apologize for being poor, for being sick and tired and so. Since I ain't slick, don't know the scope, I do apologize. I apologize because I bear resemblance most black people share. Thick lips, flat nose, and nappy hair. Yes, I apologize. I apologize for how I look, for all the lows and blows I took. On those, Lord knows I'd close the book as I apologize. I apologize for all I gave, for letting you make me your slave and go into my early grave. Yes, I apologize. I apologize for being caught, for being sold, for being bought, while being told I count for naught. I apologize for all I've done, for all my toil out in the sun. Don't want to spoil your righteous fun, so I apologize. I apologize and curse my kind for being fooled, for being blind, for being rude and in your bind. Yes, I apologize. I apologize and curse my fate for being slow, for being late, because I know it's me you hate. Why not apologize? I apologize and tip my hat, because you so rich and free and fat, son of a bitch, that's where it's at, and I apologize.
I tell you, serious thing. Yes, Ill. Okay, that one there. All right. Serious apology that.
Ill, good morning, Motor.
Blessed man.
Yeah, man, pleased to meet the man, even though it was just a brief moment, but pleased to meet the man. You know.
You have to go remind me now.
We did a Connecticut Saturday night.
Yeah, Connecticut, yes.
Yeah, you know, I see you sit down there, but me kind of stage fright to come say hi to you.
All right, yes, I know. You want me to just look on the picture? Picture with me on the eye.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, me just before the program start, me just look on the picture them. Because she send some picture with a whole heap of, you know, when me just sit down around the back and everybody will come with me and think, yeah, man.
Yeah, because I never know me could come. The daughter said she going to take a picture there. I said, eh. But true, me see you just go on the back there still. But
no, well, you want to know.
anyway,
All right, you see the daughter will bring me there, you know. I tell her that don't carry me through the front, you know, because it's going to distract the whole thing from going.
Yeah, man, I know.
So you see, when I walk come in, you know, I realize it's that, I'm sure it's the way I know, because everybody get up now and I walk, come around at the front. To come take pictures. I'm tell her, I shouldn't do that. So I have to go back round. Go back and go through the back part. You know?
Also, it just like I make a 16-year-old when we are going the next day, she said, she wants to see her again. Now, I start questioning her about it, and she wants to see her again.
Okay.
You know, so I said to her, so I come Florida. Come work, and she said, yeah, she want to come too, so, you know, you say something, you know?
Yeah, man, come back to June, you know?
Yeah, man, you come back to June again?
Hardford, yes.
Yeah, man, so, all right, so, we know, she not going there, June. Depends on what time of June, yeah. Because, yeah, I send her away for the June.
Okay.
But yeah, Motor, man, you know, may I tell you, it was a good show, and me tell you, sir, it was a good experience.
Yeah, man, good time.
But the point of more it on tonight is we on the social media. We have to just control ourselves, because we're too finger up when we see anything, we start take picture, and we just have to put it up.
I tell you, everything.
Put it up.
Everything, man.
And the people who do it, you know, one of my bonafide brethren them just drop out day before yesterday. And before you know it, the people are sending the picture. Right, the man, as the way the man dead. In a dead state. I got them a send come show me. And that's why I cuss out people. I tell people you can't do that.
The social media make people have no heart again, man.
Then, yeah, man, and that me I try make them get away from, because you see, once you start do them thing, they just get callous. Nobody not care, no separation. Yes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you find, say, as long as we keep doing them thing, they're going to cause more and more problem. You understand? Every youth are just say, oh, that just don't mean nothing. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Everybody can just have dead people and walk up and down with them cell phone, and you just see a dead person and it don't mean nothing.
I tell you, say, an accident happening, a man took up the other day, man, and down there, and the amount of picture, like me have to delete them, I have to just delete them, you know, the amount of decide that way up, that's a way to what of them people, man.
Yeah, man, nobody they not understand, and I mean, you know, we have to use some public address to just make the people go back and remember, say, first time when you watch news on TV, if you get a graphic, them always give a little disclosure before them start putting out the picture of them.
Yeah,
nobody now
feels nothing. I told them never usually show their body on TV, man. I read it out.
it just, you know, it just come in a way, you know.
Callous.
Just come in a way. Yeah, man, come in a way. And then Muta, the next thing, well, you see for this place, get back to where we want it to be. We have to start with the youth, them, and you see the school, the youth, them, say a pledge in a pledge to them country. Because everybody else do it, you know. You know what I mean? When you come here and go to school, every man in the youth, them have to pledge. Have to say them pledge. When, you know what I mean? They are Jamaica, I mean, I hear them think they are going. But what we're doing in Jamaica, we're making servants to come serve other people. And that's why we are make. That's why them can take tool and the poor. Everybody has say, they want to left Jamaica because this and that. But we can't run come town slave for people. Because that's all we do. You know, that's all we do. I just come clean white people mess. You know, I bet you be a man in your yard than go to somebody else's place to be a little boy. You know what I mean? And I then think them I'm really love the talk when you give a night, you know, you know, shoot some of the people for looking to themselves. Because nobody now see what happening now. What they on the surface.
Them eye wide,
but nobody
shut.
Yeah, nobody now interrogate themselves or interrogate them existence. As you say, these things is not for us. You know, but anyway, Muta, I got big up some man out of East Kingston there, you know, because, you know, that's where we come from. And see, you know what I mean, and Fireball, Starry, all of the man them go and big up themselves, Beato, Red Rat, all of them on there. And then all the Fish Tea family, them just send condolence to the family of my virgin Fish Tea. And you know what I mean? I miss him. I was a virgin when I love. And also, big up yourself, Muta.
Yeah, man,
I love all of my friends them. Big up yourself. Yeah.
Residents of Liberty Estate, 3 Hills, St. Mary. Your application and payment for connection to the upgraded sewage.
Watch out about me generous, Gary from Stoller family. Judah from Annex Plaza. Barry from Guys Hill. There's Ron Marshall in 6th anniversary. Watch out about Saturday the 24th of March.
Yes.
Yes, Muta.
Man.
Yes, good. I want to pay tribute to 3 well-known people in the music, reggae industry in Britain who passed away recently. One is Sir Collins, who's originally from Greenwich Farm, St. Andrew, who passed away, you know, famous producer from the 70s here. And it was his son who died in the New Cross fire in 1981. It was his son whose sound system was clear and who died in 1981. So Sir Collins passed away about a week ago. And one of his hits was Fight Life, a version of Delano Stewart's That's Life by Honey Boy, the reggae singer, you know, pioneer of. And his church service is going to be Friday, the 6th of April in Darlston by St. Mark's Church. Then on Sunday, the 11th, Dimples, the leader of the group known as the Marvels, that reggae group in the 1970s, you know, they used to come on TV and so on. He passed away on Sunday, the 11th of March. You know, Dimples Hines, the group, the Marvels, was his wife and a brother by the name of Eddie, if my memory serves me right. So Dimples passed away, and is a man in Jamaica, originally from where they call Escana in St. Andrew. You know, Escana. And that was on Sunday the 11th. And on my sister's birthday, I mean, she's in Canada, that's Tuesday the 13th of March, we had this singer, sister in 57-year-old Fontaine, who in 1981 for JB from Brixton had a big hit called Natural Eye and appeared on television a lot, traveled a lot, you know, singing with a lot of well-known singers and so on. She passed away age 57. 26th of August coming, she would have been 58. So 3 well-known well-known people in the reggae industry, you know, paying tribute to them, you know, and so on.
Since you mentioned Claudia
Fontaine.
Claudia, yeah, I want to touch our tune where you just mentioned it all.
Okay. Yeah, natural eye, you know, and thing. And Muta.
Yeah.
Also, heal up a listener to the program. Cutty, who's in Brooklyn, New York City, originally from Wildman Street, and also to Eva from Wildman Street, Central Kingston, and Bigger the Taylor, and all of the Central Kingston people, you know, and also St. John's Road, Spanish Town people, for real, and who used to go to Friendship Government School, and my cousin, who is in Queens, New York City, Rose, whose Earth Day was on Friday, the 9th of March. And this coming Sunday is my Earth Strong, my birthday, which I share with the great producer, who you know, and others know, Keith Hudson. Keith Hudson was born the 18th of March, just like myself, you know.
Yes, sir. Happy birthday, man.
Yes, give thanks. And we see things right again in Zimbabwe, you know, because there's tension now between the soldiers who put in Managua, the new president, because it's as if they want to get rid of him now, and one of them, Chiwenga, the head of the military, wanting to become president, in fact now, not just behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Yes, the soldiers led by Chiwenga now is like they only want him to serve one term, and then they come and take over officially, no behind the scenes thing, which I had said that the real rulers are the soldiers who carried out the coup. And not only that, Managua now, in trying to shore up his position, has made announcement to reverse the two major platforms of President Mugabe. One, saying him going to pay compensation to the settlers who have our land through the theft and murder by their ancestors. And President Mugabe also had a thing whereby the indigenization law, whereby all major businesses in Zimbabwe must be at least 51% Zimbabwean owned. We have scrapped that and saying that, and in the case of platinum and gold, is saying that that will also be considered to scrap that also. So this is a major reversal of the land situation in terms of so-called compensation to people who got it by the murder by their ancestors and so on. And also the thing to empower Zimbabweans in owning their economy by scrapping the 51% of Zimbabwean economy, the major parts of it, to be owned by Zimbabweans. So look out for that. And then we see that President Mugabe in alliance now with even his former Vice President, Mizuru, Joyce Mizuru, and others to defeat in the upcoming election, Managua.
That's an unholy alliance there.
Yes, but you know them ever saying that politics makes strange bedfellows.
Yes. The enemy of my enemy
and you
is
know,
my
I have
friend.
a new name for Trump, you know. The sacking and the leaving president. Because tell me, but I can't recall no president of the U.S. who has sacked so many high-profile people.
I tell you, man. I don't want to come here
I can't recall any U.S. president too. How much high-profile people resign and leave his administration. That's why I call him the president, the sacking and the leaving president. And you know, him is one of the time using, you know.
Yeah.
Because Al Tillerson, him Secretary of State, him sack him by Twitter.
But Tillerson just left at him just left in Jamaica, yeah.
Yes, and he was in Africa.
Yeah.
He was in Africa when Trump sent the Twitter to him. Another word for a fool is a tweet. So maybe that's why him love using Twitter. And from a couple months ago, he heard that Tillerson had called him a moron.
Yeah.
So Tillerson's days were numbered, From Trump heard a couple months ago that him called him a moron. So him just tweet him out. Serious business, you know what I mean? Yes.
Give thanks, brethren.
Yes, all right. So keep on keeping on. See? Blessed love.
Yes. All right. So we'll not get to play this tune. We'll not get to play the whole of that tune. I can't know why the people them hold on with them credit. So look who go and play that until somebody calls.
I want to congratulate you. I was reading in the papers that you got the Lifetime Achievement Award in America.
Yeah, and I Connecticut, yes. Give thanks.
Yeah, when are you going to collect it?
I went Saturday.
Oh, I missed it. All right. I wanted to get through to you, but I missed it the other day on the show.
All right.
I just want to say congrats, man. I'm proud of you, Muta.
Give thanks. I'm proud of you, too. I'm very proud of you.
But, Muta, I just want to say a big thank you, loud and clear, in front of the whole of Jamaica. Because without you, I wouldn't have reached where I reached, Okay. And I don't think many people know that story, that you were the person who gave me my start in dub poetry.
Tell them who's talking to them.
Tell them what?
Tell them who's talking these things on the radio.
Mr. Breeze, man. Jean Binta Breeze.
OBE.
MBE. Dr. Jean Binta.
Well, give thanks to say that. Give thanks to say that, man. Give thanks.
Yes, man. I remember I was doing a show. It was His Majesty's 90th birthday celebration in Montego Bay.
Yes.
And they asked me to come chant a poem. And when I went to the rehearsal with the band up in Salem, you were there. You were the headliner for the show.
Yes.
And they said, daughter, I love your poem. It was a poem called Flip Your Fool, You Never Go to an African School.
Yes.
And you said, daughter, I love this poem. I'm going to record it. And you recorded it within a month.
Yes.
And within a month, you had me out as the first female dub poet.
Yes.
On radio in Jamaica. You did that, Muta. And I just want to thank you publicly in front of the whole of Jamaica, because I never forget that.
Yes. And you go to England and go get big. You went to England and got big.
Me there, well, you helped me and Linton Crazy Johnson.
Yeah.
Give me a good start when I went to England. When I went to Europe, all the feminists asked me, how did you survive in a male-dominated field like dub poetry? And I said, well, the males didn't dominate me, they helped me.
Give thanks.
Yeah, man.
So you're here for good now. You're here for good now, right?
I'm here home for good. I'm retired from touring. Yeah. I'm in Hanover. And I just had my 62nd birthday on Saturday.
All right. Happy birthday.
Yeah, thank you. I'm home, Muta.
Give thanks.
So I listen to you. Since I come home, I've been home since February last year.
Yeah.
And I make my Wednesday night secure on Ariatem just for you.
All right.
Yeah,
all
man.
right,
So enough love, you hear, Muta?
Yeah, man, give thanks.
And give me Iris to Jackie.
Yes, Iris, of course.
One love, Muta, one love.
Yeah, man, give thanks. Jean Binta Breeze, man, dub poet extraordinaire. I got Japan, and I see a poster coming, Jean Binta Breeze, with her band. It's the first dub poet I know, sister, will travel with her band, and she has become a very, humongous name in England as it relates to...
Hey, you hear me?
Yeah, man, I hear you loud and clear, man.
All right. Now, in reference to this biblical God, right?
Mm.
How you fit the dinosaur, where them say is millions of years.
The dinosaur was before the 6,000 years, man. Them say the Bible has 6,000. Well, I can't tell them. I say From the first man make to now, 6,000 years. The dinosaur them was before that.
All right, 6,000 years. But the Vedas, the Hindu documents concerning God.
Bhagavad Gita, yeah.
Yeah, that is 8,000 years.
Yeah, well, Jericho, when you go to Jericho, them have a sign say, welcome to the oldest city on earth, 10,000 year old.
All right.
Me see that with my eye personally.
Me not figure this thing out, but
you don't figure out?
You know, say me there in New York, you say, I may talk to a Jewish brother one time. And him was a professor, one of them yeshiva, right? And him outside now still, no? Him say, there's some wonderful West Indian lady, right? But what they have in common with Jesus, and it's the first time somebody asked me such a question, you know, because I couldn't answer him, you know. Yeah, because him want to know. So I look back now, right? I look back where I say, the Rasta man say, him is the 12th tribe of Israel. Right? And when I say that to him, it's like I lick him with a stone now. Seeing? Because him start to ask me now, where's them living? Where's the tradition?
For sure.
For sure. You know, and I couldn't say nothing, you know, because I couldn't find out a living where I can say, this is the living with the mother.
Yeah, well, I not see no Rasta will uphold the Jewish tradition still. More than them say Haile Selassie is from the tribe of Judah. But in terms of the true Judaic way of living lifestyle, I don't see them live that. So, you know, we come create our own thing right now.
If Haile Selassie is the from the line of Solomon and David and them.
That's what the Ethiopians them say.
The Ethiopians them say that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but or we track back that, you know, because nobody can name Selassie grandfather.
Yeah, man, I mean them can't name him. Of course, them have him grandfather. Him grandfather is
Him great grandfather.
Eh?
Him great grandfather.
No, what I say, them have them we have tracing the dynasties of the emperor them of Ethiopia. So it's like just like how you trace the throne of England or Japan, or you know, anywhere the kingdom they are the Japan, you know, you trace it through the genealogy. And you know, so well that king must be related to that king. That king related to that king over the years. According to the Ethiopian them. Him is the 225th in line from Solomon and Sheba, Makeda, according to them, the Ethiopian them.
It wasn't in line for the throne.
No, but him is the family. Him is part of that family. Him is part of the family for the throne.
Well, no, you put it that way there. You know,
it's like you have 10 sons.
Yeah.
And that 10 sons, they have 10 more sons.
Yeah.
But the one, the nearest, the oldest one is the one where they're nearer to the throne.
Okay.
But now, maybe the one who supposed to get the throne never get it because of whatsoever. And then the uncle of that son, or the nephew of that son get it.
Okay, all right.
So you have to come like, the brother there so get it, so the next brother get it, so the next brother get it. So you know, I forgot that way there. It's a family thing.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
All right. No, me understand.
Yeah.
All right, Bridget. Respect here.
Yeah, man. Give thanks, Bridget.
All right.
Give thanks. Okay, so we'll come up to the bump. You know, so we're there tomorrow. Well, not tomorrow, today at 2 o'clock. With the stepping razor, the art of war. We want to give thanks for the moment. You know, I mean, in that time, we can take more calls still. But we just are telling that, lest we forget to say, hail up to all the ones them who make it possible for the program. Continue like this. You understand? We want to play this. We don't think somebody will call before this done. Okay, here goes.
Thank you very much. Washington, D.C. makes me feel not only among friends, close to the seat of government.